Over the years here on the SSC Car Show, we have attended many classic car auctions. And over those years, we have talked a lot about the advantages of attending one of these auctions. And we've talked about why it's a good place to go to pick up an old car. Today, we're here to kind of share the other side of that story with you and to warn you and to share with you some tips that will help you avoid getting ripped off or maybe paying too much. First up, you do not know who you are bidding against. And there is every possibility that the owner of the vehicle that you are bidding on may have a ringer in the audience actually bidding up the price. And even if that's not the case, sometimes you're bidding against someone who is bidding through emotion. You might be bidding through emotion, and that is one of the main things that drives the price of an old car up at one of these classic car auctions. Use your head. So do your research before you start to bid. Figure out what that vehicle is really worth before you start to bid on it. Because once you put your hand up at one of these auctions and you bid on it, if you win that bid, if you win that car, you own it. Also remember that built into the price of that vehicle is the fact that you are going to pay a fee to that auctioneer above and beyond what you've paid for that car as the bidding price. You're also going to pay taxes and other fees possibly. And remember that also built into that overall price, the seller is paying a fee as well. So that will reflect itself in any reserve that might be on that vehicle. Keep in mind as well that when you are at one of these auctions, you are not going to get to test drive this car. Whatever car it is that you're bidding on, you might get to view it while you're there. You might even be able to inspect it fairly closely. But chances are you're not going to get to drive it. So you're not going to know if it's tight or whether it's loose, whether it needs front end parts or suspension parts. You might get a chance to hear it run, maybe. They quite often start them when they run them across the auction block. But you might not. Sometimes they end up pushing them across the auction block. And keep in mind that you are buying a used car. It may look shiny. It may just gleam in the lights in the building where the auction is taking place. But keep in mind that this is a vehicle that is currently inside. The owners usually clean them all up, wax them, and if they don't, they sometimes get professional detailers to go over their vehicles and make them look as close to new as possible. Keep in mind as well that there is no warranty on the car that you are about to buy in most cases. When you buy it in an auction, you buy it as is, where is, and then once you do buy it, you're going to have to find a way to get that thing home. So that can be an additional expense as well. You may need to throw it on a transport truck or rent a trailer. The auctioneer is just a middleman as well. If you have a problem, you're not going to go back to him and he's not going to take care of you because he is just a middleman. And once the seller sells it through an auction house, it's gone. It's yours. Lock, stock, and barrel. You're often told that these cars are probably going to go up in value. And that's the key word, probably going to go up in value. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Do your research. It all depends on how much demand there is for any given car at any given time. Plus, a car is an expense. So don't buy it as an investment, really. You shouldn't be buying it as an investment. You should be buying it because you love it. You are going to need to pay to insure it. You are going to need to pay to store it. And you are going to need to pay to maintain it, even if you don't drive it. Because even as old cars sit, they need maintenance. They need oil changes. And there's nothing worse for a car than having it just sit, because they develop all kinds of problems with gaskets and seals when they are just left sitting and are not running. It could be a car that's 50 years old or 60 years old. Look at the age of one of these things. I've been to Concours d'Elegance events with the best of the best classic cars out there. And I've seen cars that look pristine that are supposed to be worth $1 million. And I've seen them fire up and blow out big puffs of black smoke. So be extremely careful when you are buying a car at any auction, especially a classic car auction. Check the floors, look for rust. Look for rotting weather stripping. Check the tires, check the brakes if you can at least look at them. Check under the hood, look for signs of engine oil leaking or gaskets leaking. Look underneath and check that transmission. Is there any fluid dripping any place? Is there any sign of brake fluid dripping? And remember that no matter how good you think the car is, even if it looks pristine, chances are when you get it home, it's still going to need something. Because when you're dealing with an old car, no matter how good they are, they always need some sort of tender, loving care. That's part of the joy of owning one. But just know what you're getting into before you start putting up your hand at the auction and bidding on any of these vehicles. At Cottingham Tire in Tilbury and Leamington, the forecast calls for Goodyear and Dunlop savings, with a chance of sun, rain, and maybe some hail. Right now, get up to $120 back on sets of 4 select Goodyear or Dunlop tires. Get the best pricing available anywhere at Cottingham Tire.
Hi, I'm Jake Cottingham from Cottingham Tire, serving the community for over 100 years. Come visit us at 13 Mill Street West in Tilbury, or join us at our new location at 189 Talbot Street West in Leamington, or visit our website at cottinghamtire.com.